has many difficulties, and democracy is not perfect. But we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all.
Hey folks, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a video. I have been crazy busy at work. A lot of stuff has been going on personally and with work, and I just haven't had time to fit a video in, but I had a little break tonight. Just got parked up here in Illinois, so I thought I would come on and share a story with you, and couple of items that I wanted to go over. First and foremost, what brought me to this subject was the fact that a truck driver just got killed the other night in Nashville, Tennessee. He was parked adjacent to the Loves. I have the story pulled up. His name was David White, 37 years old, a young driver, and he was from North Carolina. He was, like I said, parked adjacent to the Loves Travel Center in East Nashville. He was last seen buying some food, walking out of the Loves. They pulled the surveillance camera at Loves and gave it to the police officers. 7:20 p.m. on a Sunday night. Sometime during the night, something happened. I don't think they've released all of the details of it yet, but apparently Monday morning they went to go check on him and found him deceased in the truck. It's a sad situation. Like I said, I don't know what happened. If the police know what's happening, they're not releasing the information. They're investigating it as a homicide, so apparently it was not a suicide situation. It's just a bad situation. With that being said, all of our wishes and prayers, of course, go out to his family for sure. We're praying for peace in his family. Absolutely. I wanted to share a story with you, something that happened to me not too long after I started driving a truck myself. I was emptied out in Miami, Florida. I was told by my dispatch that I was to head north out of Miami. Usually what we did was we loaded back out of either South Carolina or Georgia for our return trip. I got a notification that I needed to turn the truck around and head back to Miami. I can't remember exactly what happened with that. Either I had a cell phone by that time. This would have been the early 2000s, not too long after I started driving a truck. When I first started, I did not have a cell phone. So I was trying to remember how I got that notification. It was either through the Qualcomm that was on my truck, or I got a phone call. Probably the Qualcomm is what happened. But regardless of the situation, I was told to go back to Miami, that I was going to load in the morning. Back then, we didn't have GPSs. We didn't have all of this equipment and stuff that we have become accustomed to now. So I was trying to look through a truck stop directory book, trying to find rest areas, somewhere that I could park at. I remember going by a rest area and it was full, and maybe I went back to the place where I had emptied or was going to pick up, something like that. There was no parking, I guess. I ended up next to a hotel, and at that hotel there was some trucks parked there, but it didn't look like anyone was in the trucks. It just looked like the trucks were parked. It was a sketchy neighborhood. I really didn't have a lot of options. I was tired. I was wanting to go to sleep. I parked there, closed my curtains, went to sleep. During the night, I heard a lot of commotion. I got up to look out. A guy saw me looking out of my curtains in my sleeper and approached my truck. I initially ignored him. He was beating profusely on my door and wanted in the truck. I didn't know what to do. I was young. I was inexperienced. I didn't know how to handle the situation. I cracked my window, and that was my mistake. When I rolled the window down slightly, he grabbed onto the window and started pulling it. He pulled it completely out of the frame, and the window was like at an angle, a hard angle, and I thought he was going to break the window. I started looking around for something to defend myself with, and that's when I smelled the alcohol. He was very intoxicated, probably on drugs too. Not making any kind of excuses for the guy, but he was jacked up, as I would call him, and out of his mind. And I was in fear of my life. Was looking everywhere, trying to figure out something to do, and just so happened I had a hammer laying by the seat of my truck. And I grabbed the hammer, came back, and hit him on the knuckles as hard as I could. He jerked his hand back and immediately grabbed the window again and started pulling again. I knew the window was just on that verge of about to break. In that situation, all I knew to do was to just get him off of my truck as soon as possible so I could grab the phone and call the cops. If the window was going to break, it was going to break. That was not my focus at that moment. It was getting him off of my truck. So I hit him again the second time as hard as I possibly could, even harder than the first time, and I heard his knuckle crack. I'm sorry to be like very descriptive of that, but it was enough that I knew I'd broke his finger, or at least one, maybe two of his fingers. And that at that point he fell off of the truck. I grabbed the window back, popped it into the frame, rolled the window up, and called 911. Or texted on my Qualcomm. Something alerted the police. The police got out there. You got to think this was probably close to 20 years ago, so I have a hard recollection of what exactly happened with the situation with the phone and the texting or whatever. We couldn't text on our phones for sure back then. It was a Nokia bar phone, but we could text on the Qualcomm or email, whatever they called it. Anyway, the cops did show up, and they sat out there for a while and suggested that I leave the situation, which probably I did, and just got out of there. So with that being said, with my personal experience, with the experience of of this truck driver in Nashville, I wanted to go over a few options that you have to protect yourself in a semi truck. A lot of times there's issues with bringing a gun on the truck with you on a military base. So I've been in that situation before. So what I wanted to talk mainly about on this subject is stuff that is not considered a weapon. Stuff that is legal in all states, and stuff that you can buy mail order if you prefer to buy it online and have it mailed to you, or go into a store and purchase without any hassles, without any problems, and that you can legally carry on your vehicle just out of the box, basically. So some things that you probably are obvious about, the before mentioned situation with me with the hammer, that's not considered a weapon. And that's why I was wanting to do this list that I'm getting to, is stuff that is a weapon but is not considered a weapon. One time I was stopped at a DOT scale. I was in Mississippi, and the officer approached me and said, "Do you have any guns, knives, or weapons in your vehicle?" And I always carry a knife in my vehicle, my personal vehicle, my big truck. I'm from the South. It's a habit that I've had since I was in high school, that I've always carried a weapon with, or a knife with me. Pardon me, I don't mean weapon, a knife with me. That can be considered a weapon. This officer also asked, and it was the weirdest thing, I remember this, "Do you have any hand grenades or rocket launchers in your vehicle?" And I looked at him and I said, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Do you see me laughing?" And I said, "No, I don't have any of those things in my vehicle, sir." And he said, "Okay." So what is getting to the point here, there are some things out here that are considered weapons, and there are some things out here that look just like a weapon but are not considered weapons. Okay, one that I want to go over before I get to that, the first one on my list, is a very, very obvious thing that a lot of men and women, especially women, I think, I have seen countless women truck drivers out here that carry a dog in the truck with them. If you've watched my videos at all, you will remember seeing Mr. Cooper, my little dog. He's a Min Pin that I carry with me. He's very protective. He is extremely protective of the truck. Anytime anyone gets near the truck, messes with the truck, he's like an alarm system. He goes off. Currently, he's not on the truck with me. It's snowing. It's very cold weather. He's an older dog. He's about 14 years old. He's got really bad arthritis. So I decided to leave him at home with the missus this week, and last week he was with her as well. And I feel a little lost without him because he's been on the truck with me for so long. So with that being said, a very obvious thing is a dog. There is one exception that I do know of. If you carry what is considered, I guess, a ferocious dog, everyone wants to point to the pit bull, which pit bulls are all over the place. They're like any dog. It depends on how they're raised, their temperament, their training, their owners. Any dog can be a ferocious dog, and any dog can be a sweet pet. I have seen ferocious chihuahuas. You can laugh at that if you want, but chihuahuas have a tendency to be a little on the temperamental side. And I have seen pit bulls that are very, very kind and gentle dogs. But in Florida, I have heard very varying different stories about pit bulls being confiscated from semi trucks in Florida because of local ordinances that don't allow that breed of dog to be there. It's politics. It's just the way certain areas are about this stuff. So be forewarned if you're trying to get, a huge dog like a Rottweiler or a Cane Corso, pit bull, something like that. You may run into some jurisdictional issues with some cities if they see the dog or whatever. So just to give you a heads up, but a dog is a very obvious thing to be a deterrent to would-be attackers or thieves in your truck. Cooper has lashed out many times, even though he's a very sweet dog. He's very protective as well. So we have that situation with dogs. The other thing is I wanted to mention pepper spray. As far as I know, these things that are on my list are not illegal, except for the certain dog thing that I talked about. As far as I know, you can order these online, have them shipped to you, and you can put them in your vehicle, and they're legal. They're not considered weapons because you can just order them and have them sent to you. As far as I know, you can carry them on the truck with you. There's no DOT regulations about it either because they're not weapons. The pepper spray thing, to me, is got a lot of pros and cons to it. It comes in a very wide range. Most people think of pepper spray as just a little canister, an aerosol spray. You spray it, it shoots out the hot pepper spray, and that's it. No, there is a lot of different variations of pepper spray. There is the pepper spray that you can carry, the small aerosol bottle. You can also get a pepper spray pistol that you put the cartridge in the pistol. It looks like a flare gun is what it looks like. It opens up, you put the cartridge in it, you close it, and you just pull the trigger and it sprays the pepper spray out. There is also a gel gun that you can get that has some type of cartridge in it. I have seen pictures online. I've never known of anyone having one of those, but I have seen pictures of them online. It has some type of cartridge that you put in it. When you shoot it, it comes out in a gel, and when it hits, it doesn't spread and go anywhere. It just goes where you shoot it at. And I'm not talking about a pepper ball gun. I'm talking about this pepper gel gun, and you can Google it and find it online. They're kind of rare, I guess. I think it's a 4-shot. The ones that I have seen, they're nifty. They're easily stored. You can keep them in plain view, or you can keep it concealed, or whatever. Put it in your overhead storage where it's easy access and it's ready to go. I would probably recommend one of those over pepper spray, whether it's pepper spray or the cartridge gun that I'm talking about. Anyone that has ever been around pepper spray, you will not just get that on the assailant, you will get it on you too. It is not a pleasant experience. Trust me. It's a bad situation, especially if the wind happens to blow at the same time that you shoot this pepper spray. It will come right back on you, and you have just made a bad situation even worse. Okay, with this gel gun, I think maybe it might work better. It would probably have to be a very close encounter. I don't think it has a very long range to that gel gun thing that I'm talking about. I would say probably less than 10 feet. That's just a guess. But the other thing is an actual pepper ball gun. I will say the name of a manufacturer. I don't like advertising on my channel. I don't like putting out names of stuff, but there is one called a Byrna, I believe is how you pronounce it, Byrna, Byrna HD and a SD. These are specific pepper ball guns made for self-defense. Most pepper ball guns that you see are stuff that police officers use, or a converted paintball gun or something. These Byrna guns, and you can go to their website, Byrna HD.com or SD.com. There's a couple of different types of these guns, but they work on a CO2 cartridge like an air pistol, and you put it in there. It has the little balls that go into the stock or the pistol grip, and as far as I know, you can just store it indefinitely and it's ready to go. It doesn't pierce the CO2 until you get ready to use it. So it's always ready, it's always there, and it's not considered a weapon. And the way they style these, I have a family member that's way more into actual guns than what I am. When I showed a picture of it to him, he said, that looks just like a Glock. It looks, from a distance, if you're not, right up on the person, you would swear that was a Glock. And I said, really, is it that close? And he said, absolutely. That's the other thing about this. In a lot of the situations like that, I wouldn't go around just willy-nilly just waving this thing in the air, because you probably will get the cops called on you thinking that you do have a gun and escalate the situation. I'm talking about a situation with all of this. If you feel like your life is in danger, you feel like you are in a situation that you need to get out of, okay, I personally would prefer a non-lethal system or device. Okay, I would prefer that myself. I don't want to fatally wound anyone, but I would want them in that situation away from me as quickly as possible also. So you choose your flavor here, I guess. Um, that that pepper ball gun that is specifically for personal protection, I think is a very good one. I really think I would almost go to the point of recommending that one. I have thought many, many, many times about buying one myself to help in if I was in that situation, okay, I would recommend it. But I don't have one currently. I've really thought about it though, and I think it's on a lot of people's minds now because of what just happened in Nashville. You know, stuff happens, folks, and it happens very quickly, and it escalates very quickly. So it's not a bad idea to think about these options for you. Another thing is a knife. There are restrictions on certain types of knives. Like I said earlier, I have always carried one with me. I showed mine to the DOT officer that day when he was asking me, and he said, "Oh, that's fine. That's totally fine. The blade's short enough." So I guess there's probably a law out there with the length of blade. You can't carry maybe a machete with you, something huge like that. I'm sure it goes back to the actual real pistol situation that depends on where you are and the jurisdiction and the laws and the ordinances of where you're at. So a small knife, but that I wouldn't really recommend for personal defense myself. Um, I don't carry my knife for personal defense. It's just it's a tool that I carry with me. That's the only reason I carry one myself, is if I need to cut a box open, or if there's some type of rope or something I need to cut, or sometimes I might use it to cut shrink wrap on a load for some reason. It's just a tool. That's all I carry it for. I would not even, my mind would be so far away from that if I was in a dangerous position right there. I don't even think I would reach for a knife, the knife that I carry, because it wouldn't really do any good. I mean, it's just a very, very short blade. What would you do with it? But the other thing that I wanted to bring up that probably a lot of people don't know about, but I have researched it and I have looked at it in detail, and it is a gray area between a non-lethal and a lethal. What I mean by that is, this is how should you say it, a legal gun, I guess is the best way to say that. It is something you can buy online and you can have shipped to you, but it's lethal. Now, whether it would be feasible to carry it on the truck with you, I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about this. What I'm talking about is a thing called a PCP pistol. A PCP pistol, if you want to have a description of it, it's like an air pistol on steroids. This thing will work up to 3,000 psi. So it's not, the old standard Red Ryder BB gun. or a little CO2 cartridge BB or pellet gun. This thing is high velocity, high power. There's videos online where, they make these things all the way up into 50 calibers. Okay? Big, huge guns. So you're talking something that's got some force behind it, something you can actually go hunting with. And it's completely 100% legal as far as I know. You need to check with your local laws. You need to check with your local police officers or whatever if you intend to carry something like this. Call the DOT yourself and speak to them about it. I do not have one of these, and I don't know if I would carry one on the truck with me because, like I said, I don't want really a lethal situation going on in my hands. This would be a lethal alternative that is 100% legal as far as I know, because you can order them online and have them shipped to your house. So you don't go through any firearms dealer or anything like this, but you have to have a certain pump, a certain air pump, a certain air container cartridge to go with it, because it is so high powered. 3,000 psi, you can't get that from a bicycle pump. There is a special bicycle style pump that you can buy to go with this, but that thing, you're talking probably 15 or 20 minutes of pumping this thing up just to get enough psi on it to use. So yeah, it's a different thing than just a normal air pistol. I would not recommend an air pistol. As a deterrent, maybe, but if you were in that situation and you just used a regular air pistol, I don't think that would be a good situation for you. I really don't. You need something more than just a $20 air pistol that you would buy at a department store somewhere. I think probably if I was comparing it, even though I would think the pepper spray is the worst alternative on this list, I still think that would be better than getting just a regular air pistol, because that's not going to do anything whatsoever. So I would not recommend that one at all. So anyway, that was my list, and that was what I was wanting to talk to you about, is just shoot you a video out here. Again, we're praying for this driver's family, and hope for the best. Hopefully they catch the person that did this. If it actually was a homicide, hopefully they catch this person and give them a very, very lengthy prison sentence over it. But protect yourself, watch yourself. Another thing that a lot of people out here already know about, if you don't know about it, you of course lock your doors on your trucks. You can also loop your seat belt around. If your truck is designed in a way to where you have a handle, you can loop your seat belt around that and then click it in to your seat. You need to get it really, really tight. Take all of the seat belt out as far as it will go, wrap it around maybe 2 or 3 times around the handle, and then click it in and tug on it to make sure that it has no slack in it whatsoever. That way, even if someone broke your glass out in your truck and they reached in and tried to unlock the door and pull the handle on it, they still can't get in. They would have to jump through the window which could buy you some time. That's the key here. That will not save you. The seatbelt trick thing will not save you, but it will buy you some time. If you happen to be asleep, you're a hard sleeper, it's hard for you to wake up. It's hard for you to get your bearings straight once you wake up. It buys you a little bit of time, maybe, you know, to get organized, grab something to help protect yourself. Another one that is silly, the last one that I will mention, is silly, but a truck driver told me about this one years and years ago, and that is Hornet spray. There's lots of different brands of it. Hornet spray will shoot 10 to 15 feet. Now, I'm not talking about just any regular bug spray. You would have to get the specific kind, read on the label or something that shoots 10 to 15 feet, because hornets, of course, are in a nest, usually in a tree. If you stand back 10 to 15 feet and spray it, it gives you some distance to get away from the hornets before they go attack. So that's why it shoots out so far. That's some very strong stuff. You know, that goes along with the pepper spray thing there. But then again, you have the downfalls of that, just as you do with pepper spray. What if the wind blows and it comes right back on you? Then you have eliminated yourself, you know, along with maybe eliminating the person that is trying to attack you. So the spray things, all of the spray things to me are not feasible. Just my personal opinion. But anyway, I wanted to keep this video under 40 minutes. I usually try to keep them about 30 minutes. I went over again a little bit because I talk too much. But protect yourself. Be safe out there. And we will see you on the next one. Have a good day.